Welcome to another episode of Permission Podcast. I'm Morgan Byrne, and I'm so glad you're here. I think I just want to get straight into this one. There are versions of me I used to want to erase, like, the girl who stayed too long, the girl who tolerated things she didn't have to, the girl who confused attention for love, the girl who didn't know yet. You know, all those things I wanted to just control, alt, delete. And now I don't hate her anymore. I actually love every part. I love all the parts of that girl. She was young, she was learning, and she just wanted to be loved. And so, as you know, we go into segments here. And raise your hand if you've ever cringed at your past. But if you're cringing, it means you are also growing. So I think people are way too obsessed with pretending they've always been self-aware, because that's a lie. You're lying to yourself. In the most respectful way. But growth is realizing you didn't know what you know now, and you don't know what you don't know. And of course you made mistakes. Of course you chose wrong sometimes. Of course you did the wrong thing. It's part of learning, and you were actually learning in real time. And honestly, the older I get, being that I'm 33 now, the more compassion I have for my past selves, because they were trying to survive with the tools that they had. 33-year-old Morgan does not have the same tools that 23-year-old Morgan has. Segment 2 is looking back without any shame. So in one of our last episodes, I talked about a little bit about my story and how I don't necessarily like sharing it because it brings me back to moments of me judging myself, of not having the discernment, and it does bring up a little bit of shame. And in the moment of me sharing, I noticed like my body tensing a little bit and me just feeling the emotions rise within me. And if you would have asked me 2 years ago to talk about my story, I would have politely told you, it's none of your business. And now what I understand the most is that my story and the decisions that I've made, and the 25-year-old Morgan and the 26-year-old Morgan and the 30-year-old Morgan, she had to go through these seasons and these lessons and these mistakes to shape who I am now. And so I really try to look back at my story without feeling shame, without feeling like my entire life has been made a mistake. And so sometimes, it is hard to share, but I think about, I am not going to stand in front of the mirror. If 23-year-old Morgan is standing in front of me and I'm looking at her in the mirror, I'm not going to tell her how much shame I have about her decisions. I'm going to tell her that I am so proud of every single decision that she made. Because of those, it is exactly why I am who I am right now. I'm not going to look at her and say, I'm so disappointed in you. You're not worth it. I'm going to look at Morgan and say, I'm so proud of you. You have grown beyond measure. And I think that when you start finally addressing your healing, I think that it becomes a part of your life where you're able to say to yourself, she wasn't stupid. Because when you're speaking and saying these things, you're speaking to yourself. So it's more of, I'm not stupid. I was becoming. And when you're able to shift that perspective, it changes everything. You stop, and as we lead into segment 3, you stop actually disowning yourself. You start owning every piece of you. And people nowadays really do talk a lot about reinvention. But how can you reinvent who you were if you don't integrate and own all of the pieces of yourself? There is no reinvention without integration. You're just avoiding and pretending like a piece of you never existed, but you just got prettier branding and a cute bow on top of it. You cannot fully become who you're meant to be while you're constantly rejecting who you were. And every single version of you has carried something to get you to where you are right now. The messy version of you, especially the messy versions of you, that's where you've most likely learned the biggest, most important lessons of your life. So this is your permission slip to stop speaking about your past self like she ruined your entire life. Maybe she was doing the best she could do. Maybe she led you here, right now. And maybe the next version of you is going to look back at who you are right now with love too. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Permission Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and if you know anyone who might love to hear what was mentioned today, please share with them. See you next time.